Welcome to Satvidya Java tutorials. Now we are in section 8. In this lesson we are going to talk about generic types and one example about it. And in our previous lesson we already said that generic type can be a generic class or can be a generic interface, and also we saw an example to show how we can make code reusable and simple. Now we are going to see how we can make strong error check at compile time, and also we'll see how it is helpful to eliminate the typecast. And sometimes what happens when we go to the program, sometimes some compile time errors we can rectify then and there, but sometimes it is not going to give you compile time error, but when you run it we are going to get the runtime errors. Such errors are very difficult to handle, and in order to avoid such cases, the generic types also helps us to make strong check at compile time itself. So here I want to show you with an example, like I'm going to take one generic type and one with non-generic type. Now let's see what happens with non-generic type. Here my program is like this. For example, I have an object as a variable and I am going to create two methods, set and the get methods here. So what my set and get methods do is it is going to set the object and it is going to get that object whenever you want. Here, because since I am passing object as a parameter, user can pass any wrapper classes or the string object or any other objects into this particular set method. So easily it is going to accept. This is well and good. So now coming to our main part, what I am going to do is I am going to create object for this non-generic type, and here I am going to create one integer value with wrapper class, and let's talk about integer first. So I am going to get that object using the what I am going to do, first I am going to set this object by passing this integer value into the set element. Good, everything goes good until now. So what happens, then what I have to do, I have to convert into the integer type, and I am storing it result and trying to display it as a output. So I am going to save this and I am going to run this. So what happens here, so since I passed 34 as here and I am trying to convert it into integer type and I am trying to display it as a output. Good, it got displayed like 34. Now I am going to take another variable like string variable, and I am trying to set. That means using set method I am going to send this string variable. So what happens, since our parameter is object, it is not going to give you any compile time error and it is going to accept it. But user, by mistake, user might send the string value and trying to convert it into the integer. Still it is not going to give you any compile time error since our parameter is object. So I am trying to display it again. So still we did not get any compile time error. So I am going to save this. User, by mistake user pass string, but user expecting integer as a output. Now let's see. I am going to run this. So what happens, immediately I got an runtime error. When I execute it, I got a runtime error. So now what happens, it becomes little bit difficult to check what happened in the program. Again we have to go back and we have to check it. So in order to escape such type of errors, what we can do, we have to make strong check at compile time itself. How we can do, here I am going to make it, instead of object I am going to make it like a generic. So if you want to make it like a generic, as I said, you can use generic at the class. So I am going to use generic by using this notation. So we can use this notation in order to define that we are using a generic. Whatever you give here key, that key can be used like a data type in your program, in your methods or at the variable declarations. So here I have given T and I will show you what T stands for later, and I am going to make it like private T. Here T is going to be type. So here my type is T and I am giving it like T. So instead of sending object I am going to send it T. Now here T acts like any variable, any object that you can send here. So what happens, since it is a class, you have to send the like an object. So here what happens, while creating object itself, I am going to say this object is going to deal with the integer type, not the string type. While creating itself, I am going to pass integer. Immediately what happens, this integer is going to replace at this point wherever t is available, that integer is going to replace t with the integer. And this object, keep moving. Anytime if you want to use this object is treated as an integer only, not a string. So here in the same way, what I am going to do, I am going to make it like integer, and I am going to declare another string value. And what I am going to do, and I am going to set integer value here. And by using typecast, here we can also eliminate this typecast. If you use also, it is not giving any error, but you can also eliminate like this. Also you can eliminate the typecast. So no need to typecast, because already we said integer over here, by default it is going to take it like a integer. Now I am going to make it like I display it result. So what happens if I do this, everything goes fine until now. So I am trying to run, it is going to display you result like 34 in a, as like our non-generic type program. So what happens if user tries to get it set like a string value to this particular object, using this particular object, if user by mistake send a string value, immediately it is going to give an compilation error, says you have to send only integer error. So it makes us a strong error check at the compile time. So immediately you can make it like an integer again, and you can send another integer value, or you can execute your programs again. So like this, using generic types, you can make your error check very strong at compile time itself, and also you can eliminate the typecast. Now where all we can use this generic types, you can use for the classes, interfaces and methods. But before using, you have to use the notations like greater than and less than symbols here, and in between you are going to write your key notation. So this key notation can be we have some naming conventions for this generics you can also use other key notations, but this name, if you follow this naming conventions, it makes the programmers or for us to easily identify what is this notation we are using for. So in general we are going to use, if you are dealing with the type, we are going to use T as a notation, and K for the key, and N for number, V for value, and E for element. And we can also use S, U, V and so on if you are declaring more than one type at the class or the methods or interfaces. And we are going to see more about these key values and more about how to declare more than one generic types in our later classes. So don't miss it. Keep watching. If you like this video, please like and share to your friends who want to learn Java from basics, and please don't forget to subscribe. And for our notifications, please press the bell icon below, and for notes please visit www.it.satvidya.com. Thank you.